Hi, this is Julie from the Old Tattered Flag and Ultra Punch Needle. We're glad you stopped by. You finally decided to give punch needle embroidery a try, but you just can't get those loops to stay in, so we're going to try to help you out today. The first thing you're going to need is your Ultra Punch Needle. You'll notice that the Ultra Punch Needle has numbers on the side of the pen. This helps you regulate your loop height with just the turn of your wrist. You're also going to need a good embroidery hoop, and not just any embroidery hoop. You want one with a locking lip on the inside of the hoop so it can help keep your fabric nice and tight. The other thing you can use is a punch needle frame with gripper strips. The gripper strips are sharp, but they do hold your fabric nice and tight so you won't have any shifting.
And last but not least, you need weaver's cloth. Weaver's cloth is a 55-45 cotton poly blend. Because it has a polyester in it, it has more give in the weave, so it's less prone to tear. If you use only a cotton fabric, although it can be done, some people swear, I have had it tear on me before. After I've gotten through punching a design, I was almost done and it tore. So you don't want to put that much time into something if your fabric's going to tear. So you want to put your weaver's cloth on your gripper frame, which this is a gripper frame, or your hoop extra tight. The tighter it is, the easier it is to punch. If it's really loose and you're using a regular embroidery hoop, you'll get discouraged very quickly. When you load your thread into your punch needle, you want to make sure that it goes through the needle smoothly. I have 6 strands in here, so I'm feeling a little bit of resistance, but it's not too much and it's going to work just fine for me. I'm using the medium tip, and an exercise that I like to do with my students when we start, here's a finished version right up here. I like to have them draw a straight line, as straight as can be. That's not straight and it's not a big deal. And then I like them to separate it into approximate 1-inch segments. It doesn't have to be exact, it doesn't have to be straight, it's not a problem. So the way we start this exercise, and the way that you're going to train your hand and brain to work together to get those loops in, is to move your needle up to the number 12. You can see, if you look at the needle, how much higher that went from where we normally are prone to work, either on the 1 or 2. So there's the 2, there's the number 12. So we're going to start at this end, and we're going to punch. Because the needle is so long, it feels a little bit funny. You're going to very slowly raise your needle up out of the fabric. I tell all my students I want them to go in super slow motion. The fabric is going to grip around your needle, so you're going to want to pull it up, and a lot of people do this. They pull it up. Which the needle's very forgiving. You can just tug back on the thread, put it in the next spot where you're going to go, and punch over. You want to move over a few fibers on the fabric. You don't want to punch right on top, and you don't want to punch too far away. I'll show you afterwards how you can tell if you're punching too close or if you're punching too far. So now that we've reached the end of this 1-inch segment, we're going to leave the needle in, and we're going to turn it down to, let's say, a number 8. We're going to keep punching on the number 8. You can hear that loud pop because my fabric is very tight on my frame. I'm pressing down on the fabric with my left hand to give it a little bit more tight feel. I've gotten to my 2nd inch mark. Now I'm going to turn it down to the number 6. We're going to keep punching. Remember, there are no speed records. If you're not feeling comfortable and your spacing isn't right, just slow it down. Just go really slow. Get the feel of pulling the needle out of the fabric and going over to the next spot. You don't want to hold your pen with a death grip. If you do, your hand is going to hurt. Remember that your fingers are merely holding the pen. They're not using it to... You're not using your fingers to push down. They're merely a guide. Most of the action is in your wrist. Now we're going to move down to a number 4. You see where we're going here with this, right? The next one is the number 2. The number 2 is my comfort zone, my happy place. That's where I punch all of my designs, unless I'm trying to add a little bit of texture or depth. But I primarily stay with the number 2. See how much shorter the needle is. See how different it even sounds. See how much more control I have. What we're doing is we're training our brain and our hand to work together to create muscle memory. I'm going to continue on this 2nd inch at the number 2. We're creating muscle memory and we're getting that movement so that it just becomes second nature to us. I want to tell you that if you're still having trouble, make sure you don't have a knot in your thread. Make sure you're not holding your thread. A lot of people like to hold their thread while they're punching. I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to pull this out. And I'm going to snip. And I'm going to snip my tail. A lot of people like to hold their thread while they're punching up at the top. If you do that, you're creating tension. It won't work correctly. A lot of people have been known to put their arm on the thread like this while they're punching. That will make you not get loops. A lot of times your thread can get caught in the folds of your clothing. That will make it so it's not working. We're going to pull this back, and now we're going to see the fruits of our labor. What we've done, and this looks like a hot mess when you're first looking at it. This is the row I punched previous to this, and this is the one I just did. Now you'll see even the best puncher has to kind of manipulate their loops into place right here. If you were to see any spacing, that would mean that you're punching too loose. You're not punching close enough. You don't want to see any spacing in your row. You can see right here, this is where we started on the number 12. We went down to the number 8, the number 6, the number 4, and then we ended at the number 2. So this is a nice progression of loops. This is a nice progression because it teaches your hand how to get the loops in the fabric and how to lift the needle out of the fabric. And it's a good tool to use if you're just starting out. So I hope that helps you, and I hope you get those loops in the fabric. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.